Okay, here we are, Sowing the Bourbon once again at the Kentucky Bourbon Fest. We are here with Jerry Erisman with New Riff. What do you have there, Jay?
So we've got, and I'm trembling with, excitement to bring this to the Kentucky Bourbon Festival finally. This is New Riff 8-year-old bourbon. We have held back 20 to 30% of all the stuff we made, almost across the board, from the early years to someday become older.
Right.
We're now 10 years old. We opened in 2014. We had a hell of a party in July to celebrate being 10, and part of that was this year we finally got to the next level of age at New Riff, and it's an 8-year-old. We didn't go into this deciding we're going to have an 8-year-old.
Right.
We let the whiskey talk to us, the market talk to us. When were we ready to do an older whiskey, and now we are. And here it is.
I feel like 8 years is kind of that, 4 years is okay, 6 years is respectable, but when you get to that 8-year mark, I feel like that's when you really, especially for younger distilleries or craft distilleries, that's really when you start hitting your stride, right. I think, with your craft and the age. So I'm kind of excited to.
Yeah, our standard bottled and bond whiskeys are 4 years old. Everything at New Riff is a minimum of 4, and those have got acclaim and fans and double gold medals and everything. A lot of fans of that. We knew that the real glory would lie with older whiskey, but you want to age it out enough that it kind of makes sense. 6-year-old too soon. 9 years is longer than you need to go, right? Doubling the age we thought made sort of some sense.
Okay.
So the mash bill it's printed on the back of the bottle, just like our regular whiskeys. It's the same mash bill.
We love.
Yeah, yes. Right on. We love talking about mash bills. Don't keep it a secret. Engage with people about it. So this is 30% rye, the high rye bourbon that we are known for, just in our other whiskeys. It's 100 proof, just like all of the bonded whiskeys were. Of course, bottled without chill filtration, like everything we ever make. And of course, every drop distilled by New Riff. There's the building on the back of the bottle.
Absolutely. If you haven't been to New Riff in northern Kentucky, you need to check it out. Me and my wife did it back in July. We have an episode. Check it out. Don't sleep on that.
So when I taste this stuff, Glenn, I'm not necessarily looking for a particular flavor. Oh, I'm glad it's sweet. I wish it was spicier. Whatever. I don't care about that. What I want this to show me is how is this doing in an aging curve? Is this a whiskey that's aging out and now it's 8 years old and it's almost done and then it's going to get too woody?
Right.
Or is this a whiskey that has hit 8 years old and it's suggesting it can go on in future years, 10, 12, 15, 16, whatever it is. And that's what I'm getting out of this. This tastes to me like it has hit 8 years old without breaking a sweat.
I would agree. That's a really nice, pleasant nose. There's no ethanol at all on it. Cheers.
Cheers. It is deeper and richer and oakier, but it's not tannic. It's not overaged. It's not woody.
That's really nice. That is really nice.
Thank you.
That has all the classic bourbon profile notes that you're looking for. You get the high rye in it. It's got just enough spice, and it's got just enough oak without being over oak, like you said. Yeah, right. I couldn't agree more with anything you just said.
Thank you. It's got a bright future, and we think we're on the track of making whiskey that can make the old bones and go a long distance. So we'll see.
And it's got a nice finish. It's still kind of tickling my tongue here, right in the middle of my tongue. Yeah. So this is on the market now, available now for purchase?
It is. The 8-year-old bourbon came out in May and has been getting slowly across the country. We released 8-year-old rye in July, I believe, and that is also slowly getting out there.
Also
it's certainly
fantastic.
In our home market of Kentucky, and is in the New Riff gift shop every day. The supply can be limited, and we don't have that much of it. We held back 20 to 30% of everything we made, but 8 years ago we made this much whiskey. Today we make this much whiskey.
Exactly.
So it can be hard to find, but it's always turning 8. It's always getting older.
Absolutely.
We're always bottling some more. So if you can't find a bottle today in September, hang on. I bet you find one next month.
Well, and before we started recording, we were talking about about the fact that I love the fact that you can walk into the New Riff gift shop and everything's $69. Or, I mean, I didn't see anything there for $100 or more. Everything's very affordable.
Right.
And it's very, very good whiskey.
It's part of our legacy and our background as retailers. The founder of New Riff, and I'm the co-founder of New Riff, but my boss all those years, Ken Lewis, just inducted into the Bourbon Hall of Fame.
That's awesome.
This week.
Awesome.
And he received the Parker Beam Lifetime Achievement Award. Absolutely sensational week for New Riff.
Good company there.
But my Ken Lewis has a legacy of very fair pricing to his customers. Here is the single malt. We sell this in the gift shop for $69.99. Plenty of places would sell it for $169.99. That's just not the New Riff ethos. So we want to be very fair and straightforward in how we price things. So here is the 2024 release of New Riff Single Malt. This is a cask strength. It's 114.5 proof actually this year. And it's comprised, like last year's edition, of 5 different mash bills. 5 different single malt mash bills that we made, aged in seven different kinds of casks. New charred oak barrels, toasted oak, Madeira cask, red wine, apple brandy, Oloroso sherry, all these different casks. All of that is vatted and blended together in a special tuning, if you will, that results in a one-of-a-kind single malt whiskey. Nobody's making a whiskey like this. And I hasten to add, it's not what you hear on the news. It's not an American single malt. It is very proudly a Kentucky single malt.
Absolutely.
Made in Kentucky, made in the sour mash method, just like our bourbons. So this is a single malt, but it drinks a lot like a bourbon. If we have a sip, it's big.
It's just got such a great nose, and I feel like the Oloroso cask really shines through on this one. I love Oloroso finish.
We've got a good hit of Oloroso in there.
Just so good.
It's delicious straight, and when you taste it straight, in my opinion, my experience, the wood, the cooperage, the casks are forward. When you hit it with a little water, a beautiful thing happens, and the casks go back a little bit and the grains come forward. It's so much fun to drink. There's like 3 or 4 experiences in one dram. When you hit it with water, you hit a little more whiskey to push it and pull it back and forth. Wood or grain, wood or grain.
Very nice either way. And we did a review on this recently, and we actually did this because it says on the bottle, add some water to it.
Yeah, good.
And I preferred it without the water. I preferred it straight up. Very nice both ways. The proof is great. It's hard to find if you're a Scotch drinker or a single malt drinker. A lot of times they're lower in proof, right?
Right.
And that's one of the things I'm not a big fan of Scotch is it's, a lot of times they're 80 proof, 90 proof. And I don't know what this says about me, but I like a little more proof.
No judgment here, Glenn. This is the Bourbon Festival.
Yes, but so nice. If you're not into single malts, or if you are into single malts, I think this is going to appeal to you. It's a great gateway, would you say?
Yes.
A gateway whiskey for someone
I think it's got something for every kind of whiskey lover. If you're a Scotch lover, this was partly inspired by Scotland, and it has some echoes of Scotch whiskey. Some of the mash bills are Scotch barley malts. One of them is peated. There's a little bit of peaty, smoky whiskey in here, but not too much, just enough.
I would agree.
It has Oloroso sherry cask, but if you're a bourbon lover, this is a big, fat, heavy-bodied whiskey that drinks a lot in the glass. It drinks a lot like a bourbon.
I get a lot of chocolate on this.
Well, that's funny. There is one of the mash bills in this, created by our master distiller, Brian Sprance, is a barley wine mash bill, like a barley wine beer. And that has about 2%, maybe 3% chocolate malt. And that chocolatey note comes all the way through to the end.
I would agree. And your master distiller is actually, he was a brewer, correct?
That's correct.
With Sam
That's
Adams?
correct. He was a brewer. He came to us from a career at Boston Beer and other craft breweries around Greater Cincinnati. Brian is he's probably the best brewer in Cincinnati, and now he's a distiller, and that's why we brought him in. That he would know fermentation like the back of his hand, just at a masterful level.
Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate you sharing these with us. Is there anything that New Riff has coming up that you want people to know about, that you want to kind of put out there to the world?
The world can look forward to a release later this year of our winter whiskey.
Okay.
This is the chocolate oatmeal stout mash bill that comes out normally every winter, and we do have some coming out this year. So look for it at an outlet near you, or certainly in Kentucky, or the New Riff gift shop, and probably a little bit also available online at our online retail partner,
Awesome.
who will also have some single malt and some of the 8 years as well. You can find that at our website, newriffdistilling.com.
Another great reason for us to make another trip to Northern Kentucky this
Y'all come
winter.
back now, right?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
I appreciate
Glenn.
it.
You bet, man.